Sorry. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Bolt Crew podcast. Dave Palais, Josh Palais, and Mario Heron talking Charger football with you on a Thursday. Again, 1 o'clock Pacific time. This is where we're at. Appreciate everybody joining us today and talking Charger football. Again, like and subscribe to the show. If you like the show, if you're here all the time, like and subscribe. If you don't like and subscribe and you're just here, that's fine too. Because I see some of the comments. You guys keep coming back, but you tell us how much you can't stand us. And then we have the 99.9% of the people that absolutely love the show. They appreciate the honesty, everything that goes along with it. But then you run into people, you guys are too negative. Look, I'm sorry. If you think we're negative, I'm just going to start the show this way. Because when I know it's only really a select few that honestly feel that way, I think we're honest. I don't think we're liars. I think we're big-time fans. I think it bothers more outside of the players and the coaches and the owner than the three of us when they lose. There's some people that equal our pain, but there's no one that sits there and says these guys don't care and then it's over and we just walk away like the game didn't happen. When is the last time this team won a playoff game? Do you guys know?
Was it? I don't even remember.
Oh, I thought they beat the Ravens on the road. Okay.
Philip Rivers.
The
first down.
Yeah,
the first down. Yeah, it was great.
Yes. So do you understand if you started school in first grade, you would be a freshman in high school right now since the last time they won that goddamn game. So my point is there's not a lot to be positive about. It's been a long time. Okay. It's been a long time. And so when we say we want wins and not just wins, playoff wins to the point, it's not even as big of a deal as it is seeing teams in your division go to the Super Bowl all the time. We want someone that's going to bring home that Super Bowl trophy. And that's the ultimate goal of this team, should be for you as a fan base. And if you're going to sit there and keep making excuses because you're in love with these players, unless you're related to any of them, you are out of your damn mind. You are out of your mind. They aren't sharing their paychecks. They aren't sharing their trophies. They aren't even getting you tickets to the game. But yet you guys are so loyal to some of these players that it hurts your feelings if we say something negative about them. Look, I understand fan is short for fanatic. But is fan short for insane? Because, look, you should be rooting for the logo and that team is the Chargers. And until you win a Super Bowl and there's a parade, there's nothing to celebrate. There's one goal. It's to be the last team standing after 32. And that's the goal of this show, making sure this is the last team standing. That's what we want. So I'm sorry if your feelings get hurt. And if it bothers you that much, you don't need to come back. Because you know what? Tuesday, it's going to be the same damn thing. Because there aren't going to be any games between now and Tuesday. We're going to be honest with you. Unless they sign somebody, they make a big trade, there's something to comment about. Our goal is to be number one. And right now, this team is not number one.
Yeah, I agree with everything Dave said. I got nothing else to say, really. I actually get mad about the people the other way, right? If you everything's sunshine and rainbows, I'm like, you know what? I don't think you're that big of a fan. If everything's sunshine and rainbows, I'm going to challenge your fandom, because you should be upset when things happen that you don't like. And I think that's the whole thing that we do with this show. We want to be honest and be serious. If something seriously pisses us off, we're going to be honest about it. If something's great, we'll be honest about it. Like Mekhi Becton, right? All three of us agreed on the last show. That was a good move.
Yeah, we like it.
But if you're going to sign Benjamin St. Juste, the worst cornerback in the NFL, and try to tell me it's a guy for depth, I just got nothing to say for you. It is what it is. I'm happy to do it this way. If I was to, tell everybody everything's great all the time, I couldn't live with myself, Mario. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that I'm a liar.
Hey, you never lie. My mom said if you lie, you go straight to hell. So all the people that lie out there, see you there, buddy. No, yeah, completely agree with you guys. Underwhelming offseason so far, but we saw the draft around the corner, so that could always lead to something. Hopefully get Loveland in there, hopefully able to build our team up even more. These guys are been amazing drafters, so we shall see what they do there.
Yeah, agree.
And
Mario, hold on.
You
completely, Mario, you spun me out. I got to ask a question before you go on something serious.
Okay.
At what age did your mom start threatening you with going to hell?
Ooh, good question. That's a great question. When was the first going to hell? I think I got the first going to hell from my poppy instead of her, actually. Maybe
your grandfather told you you're gonna go to hell.
Yeah, she hit me with. You know what she'd always do? This is the funniest. Like looking back, she'd always hit me with God's watching, and God's right next to you as he saw you do that. And I'm like, all right.
Is he
You're about half a bottle of wine deep right now. He saw that too. You know, like, come on.
So you grew up getting threatened by Santa and God and going to hell all at the same time? There's a lot of stuff going on in that house.
It was, yeah. It was hell wasn't as bad. If God was right behind you was a lot. That was my dad and mom loved pulling that one. And I was always like, I'm okay, that's whatever. You know. And then I almost made a really inappropriate joke there. But when you're alone and the house is alone and you're a little bit younger and you're like, this could be a good time to do something, saying that God's always there for you turns into being a little creepy.
All right. I'm sorry I interrupted and asked this question.
No, you're good. By the way, McNeese today. Sorry, March Madness. If McNeese wins today, guys, we're in a good spot.
Who are your two favorite players on McNeese?
Whichever one makes the next shot. I got a lot of bets today, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. All sort of that floor.
I know you do.
Yeah. And so we might be screaming.
Finish what you were saying. I cut you off completely. Sorry.
Oh no, I think it makes sense, man. This offseason, you expected a lot. You expected a lot of money to be spent, and Josh, you kind of said it perfectly a couple shows ago. Like, look, they haven't gotten their star players through a free agency. They're getting guys that are, for lack of a better term, role guys, and that's okay. But when it comes draft time, let's make sure we really nail it and make sure we get our future going, because Herbert's in his prime right now. You want to take advantage of that, and you can't just have the mentality of, oh, well, there's next year, there's next year, there's next year, because next thing you know, you end up with a Phillip Rivers situation, part two, an Andrew Luck situation, where you just wasted a very talented quarterback or a very talented football player, and you have nothing to show for it, and say you just put him in the Ring of Honor and show highlights of the regular season with nothing in the postseason, and we don't want that.
So here's the deal with, Justin Herbert. All right. No one here, by the way, dislikes. I hate the fact we have to sit there justify every damn thing we say. Look, we all like Justin Herbert. Okay. It's the last time I want to say this on the show. It's so ridiculous. Anytime we talk about Justin Herbert, we're like, got to do that, hands in the air, like, don't punch me in the face move. Everyone's a Justin Herbert fan. Got it. Okay. There's not one person I know who's a Charger fan that hates Justin Herbert. Maybe Easton Stick's mom. That's about it. But no one else hates Justin Herbert. That being said, the quarterback position is the toughest position to play in all of sports. It is extremely tough to play. As a matter of fact, there are 32 teams in this league. Think how many people love the game of football, and yet you cannot find 32 starting quarterbacks, like real quarterbacks that give you a chance to win every single week, right? We do the list all the time. In all honesty, it's maybe 12, 13 people on the planet can actually play that position at a high level. Not only do the Chargers have one of those guys, he's not even number 13, right? A lot of people make the argument he's top 5. Some people say he's top 7, at worst, top 7. But for Charger fans, we love the guy that we have. Matter of fact, I think a lot of Charger fans will say when his career is over, he should be the greatest Charger quarterback of all time. Should be, meaning there are other circumstances around that the Chargers can help him with. You have that guy. You can't afford to waste any more of these years. And that's the biggest complaint, the biggest frustration for me when they don't go out and make moves in free agency, especially when they have a ton of money to spend. What is the holdup? He just turned 27 years old. You don't know how long he's going to play. You don't know how many guys want to be Tom Brady and play till they're in their 40s. You don't know how many guys turn into Andrew Luck, as Josh said last week. But when you sit there and you have one of these guys and not to do everything you can to give him the most talented, overloaded roster, you're making a big mistake. You're hurting him. You're hurting your fan base, everything else, and you're missing out on it. It's one of those things that's very frustrating. So with Justin Herbert, as good as he is, guys, and you hear stories, oh, he's a lifer, and then are you hearing these crazy rumors that Justin Herbert could be traded to Minnesota? Like we've heard these now all of a sudden. No one on this show believes that. But anytime you look at Justin Herbert's situation, are you thinking we need to be a team like the 49ers and the Cowboys, where you go, and the Saints did it, and they actually got a Super Bowl out of it, where you push that salary cap to the very end to say it might cost us in the future, a dynasty, so to speak, but we're going all in for a good 2-3 years, where we want to be that organization where other fan bases go, how the hell did the Chargers do it? How did the Chargers get away with this? Or is this the way to go? To slowly put a team together, even though your quarterback, who's very rare, is getting older?
I'm okay with the approach the Chargers have made by putting people in positions to make the decisions that you believe in, because I believe that when Justin Herbert joined the Chargers, the wrong people were in place, and that's clear. For God's sakes, they wanted to start Tyrod Taylor, but they tried to kill him, and that's the only reason that Justin Herbert got in the game. I mean, how do you have a generational talent like Justin Herbert that you draft towards, right at the top of the draft, but yet you're not going to let him start because you got a journeyman and Tyrod Taylor playing quarterback? I believe in the Chargers. I believe in what they're doing, Mario. It does drive me a little bit crazy when I think that maybe they'll be wasting a year. And I don't believe that next season the Chargers are wasting a year. But when you build a team from, the depth guys first at the beginning of free agency, and then you see what money's left for the rest of the players, I don't know if that's a great approach. Then again, I don't get paid any money to be the GM. I just think when you put all your eggs in one basket and saying we have to nail the draft to be relevant, it's just a risky decision. Okay. And I think Justin Herbert catches too much hate across the national media because he hasn't won a playoff game. But as a fan, you're saying, hey, that can't be the excuse forever. You can't say, oh, he didn't have an offensive lineman here. You didn't have a defense in this season. You just got to win. And I think the Chargers are going to do their best to put the best team around him. But for God's sakes, Mario, if you don't have another wide receiver joining this team soon, either through the draft or free agency, and at least 2 more tight ends on this roster, it's really going to be hard for Justin Herbert to win a playoff game.
It'll be insanely brutal. And I think we just did that all-in process, like you mentioned, Dave, where we went and got, Mac. Then we thought, all right, we got Mac and Bosa. We have Allen. We have Mike Williams. We went and traded for J.C. Jackson. And it was like this moment of, oh, the Chargers have all the chips in the middle. They are in on this moment for the next 2 to 3 years. They're going to win a Super Bowl title. They're going to win a Super Bowl title. And then next thing you know, we don't even have a playoff win to show for it. And you're like, okay, now we're going to have to kind of figure this thing out because we committed to a lot of different guys into the system and it ended up not working at all. And we actually just got blown up by our rival who's not even a playoff team or even close to it. Now they're taking the approach of, we're going to build Rome, but it's going to take, the full time to build it. You're not going to, AI it and it's done in 2 hours. No, it's going to take some time. I'd rather go this route. I think it's better in the long run. But to your point, Josh, the thing that does worry me is maybe you're throwing away too many years, or there's just moments when you could like jump the throttle a little bit and you're not doing that because you want to play cautious, kind of play like the safe game. And if you want to do that, that's fine. But at some point, Dave, you got to whip it out.
I knew you finished it somewhere over the top. I knew it. I just knew it. Good God. All right. Here's the deal. It's a combination, right, of 3 things. It's free agency, it's trades, it's the draft, right? Isn't that how you always build an NFL team, right? You have to be good at those 3 things if you're a front office.
Yeah.
Well, how many of those things do the Chargers participate in? Right now, they want to participate basically in one of those things, just through the draft, right? They don't want to make trades because they don't care to give up draft picks, right? Free agency, for some reason, seems to scare them when it comes to the real popular guys that seem to be difference makers, and they're building the team through the draft. It's not the New York Giants. You know what I mean? It's not a team that doesn't have a franchise quarterback, basically. It's Justin Herbert. That's why you got to sit there and change the game plan a little bit. Every circumstance is a little bit different, but when you have a guy with his capabilities, you sit there and you speed up the process. And that's my point. I'm not saying I've lost basically faith in Joe Ortiz, but the deal is, though, you got to kind of change the game plan when you're lucky enough. You got the best race car driver in the world, but yet you're sticking him in a Volkswagen Bug and you want him to win the Indianapolis 500. Like, what are we doing here? You got to help him out. And right now, Justin Herbert's not getting the help he needs. I hope it bothers Justin Herbert. That's the only thing that's always in my mind. Like, I don't want him to be, the complete, guy that's a cancer because it's always about him. It definitely is never about Justin Herbert. But man, at the same time, dude, fight for your legacy.
So the Chargers brought in Andre James, a center to compete with Bradley Bozeman. So the way that I look at this, Mario, is it's going to be a competition, obviously, between Andre James and Bradley Bozeman. But you also heard that Zion Johnson is working in as a center as well. The approach that I believe the Chargers are taking, or they're going to get utility offensive linemen to either be interchangeable between the guard and center position, and then just see who's the best man available. Because if you have 3 guys going for center and then you draft a guard or 2 in the draft, or you get another center, you're going to have good options there to choose from. You will not win any games that matter with Trey Pipkins on the field. And I'm sure Trey Pipkins is a great guy. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to win any games with Zion Johnson as your full-time left guard. If we can create some competition with some new guys, either through the draft or a guy like Andre James, I think it's going to be the best for this team to have the best players available at all times.
And I like the move of bringing Andre James because we actually talked about this before the show, but him and Bradley are like two different alignment, right? Bradley, run blocking game, that's where he excels. That's where he kind of, makes his money. Andre James, he makes his money through the passing game, right? That's where his strengths are. And when you have kind of like those two different, I don't want to say it's extremes because it's not like there's the biggest drop off in the world. There's a little bit of drop off, but it's not, monstrous like Clemson's doing right now. So shout out to all the Clemson fans. But I like it, Dave, for the reason of you kind of get to like have this competition, have this go. All right, the group that we had last year didn't get it done. Let's find a way to improve it. And if we can improve it, and these guys are professional athletes, and when they get competitive in practice, that brings the best out of them.
Look, man, one of them has to earn that starting spot. I mean, with these guys, has to be one of those guys because, hey, I'm not the kind of guy that wants to spend a lot of time watching game film, but if I'm watching centers go in and out, I'm yelling run. I'm yelling pass just by which center's in the game. Like if one guy's good at pass blocking and the other guy isn't, and then one guy's good at run blocking, the other guy isn't, and that's this guy that's in the game, I got a pretty good idea that I figured out 50% of your play before you even snap the ball. Like somebody has to be the guy, right? Somebody has to be the guy. Like it's really funny. It's not like the tight end position like they did last year. We're going to get a receiving tight end and a blocking tight end. All of a sudden our blocking tight end turned into our receiving tight end. And it didn't work out so great in the last game. My point is, dude, get well-rounded football players that play that position. I don't understand. I understand the depth thing, Josh, and I know in practice they move guys all over the place, especially on the line, because never know when injury is going to happen. But what are we doing? I don't understand. What are we sitting there doing?
I'm not sure. I
don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm not blaming you. You aren't sitting there giving tips, but it just seems like we're doing this with basically, scotch tape and trying to do the best we can to hold things together when that's not where this franchise is right now. Got one of the best coaches in the league and one of the best quarterbacks in the league, one of the best defensive players in the league. You play in a fantastic building. You're the number 2 media market. Everything should be firing at full cylinder right now.
The way that I look at it right now is that the Chargers are going to bring in at least one tight end through the draft, Mario. I would say probably 2 would be my guess. And then they're also going to get a couple interior linemen in the draft. I mean, what else are you going to do in this draft, right? So tight end, interior offensive lineman. Now you have 2 really good tackles, and then you have about 4 or 5 interior offensive linemen to choose from. Hopefully 2 come within the top, 4 rounds from the draft and create some competition like we just discussed. The question that's been going around Twitter, do you trade up for Tyler Warren? Everybody has him, or most people have him as tight end 1. Some people think there's a big gap between him and Loveland. Some people think it's a small gap. Would you move up for that tight end if you think you can build with Justin Herbert for the next 10 years? Or would you stay back and see if Colson Loveland falls into your hands?
Okay, poll question right here. The 3 of us right now, what would you do?
I'd move up.
Me too.
I think there's a gap. I think there's a pretty good gap between the 2. Tyler Warren, when you watch Penn State, just seems like he does more for the team. For God's sakes, the guy's taking snaps and getting first downs. But yeah, Mario, what you said you probably move up as well.
You didn't even hesitate. You said,
I'd move up.
Me too.
Well, why in this draft? Why not,
dude? How many picks do you have?
On it.
We just got a bunch of compensatory picks. Let's play. What are we doing? Go get the guy. You're gonna hate it if that guy looks like Brock Bowers in a year, and the other guy it turns into Mercedes Lewis. You're gonna be super pissed.
So that was my point. Is like, let's say he's like Brock Bowers level, which I know Brock Bowers broke records, but let's say he's just flirting with that. Him with Herbert, I mean, my Lord, like that would be everything that we need.
I think Justin Herbert needs a dynamic tight end, a guy that does more than just does blocks. Like Will Disley was supposed to be the blocking tight end. We've discussed this before. Tyler Warren is a dynamic player. I don't think he's Brock Bowers, actually, like not even close. I think Brock Bowers. None of us think that. But Brock Bowers, to me, was just a level above everybody else in college football. Tyler Warren is just a football player, Mario, and I know that's the most like cliche thing of all time. But if you can get a guy that does multiple things on the field like Tyler Warren does, I'd go up. Why not move up to, the number 15 pick or whatever it takes to get Tyler Warren if he's available? I think it's definitely worth it.
Do you think he's there at 15? I know it sounds crazy but everyone knows, man, the tight end position is extremely valuable all the way around. All the good teams basically have a really good functioning tight end.
So that's a good question. So that's kind of where my limit would be. If he's at the 15th pick, I move up. If he's taken before the 15th pick, I stay still. That's what I would do.
Okay.
I'd rock with it. Yeah. I mean, also just give us some excitement. Give me a 10. Come on now.
Okay. Aaron over here in the chat says he likes Loveland more. Look, I don't know. I'm going to tell you just by my eyes and just watching Tyler Warren in big games. I don't know. I don't know which one's the better one. For me, Tyler Warren does things we go, that's big time stuff. Like that plays at the next level.
I think either one's like, I don't think it's.
Yeah, I'll be happy with either one.
Yeah. Like I don't think it's do or die. I think it's both. You're going to be pretty happy and you're going to get some pretty good production from both of them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I don't know, man. It's exciting, man. The draft's, pretty getting closer, and it's always a lot of fun, especially when you can hear different rumors here and there. Like, I don't even know, guys, if it's a consensus who the number one quarterback is going to be, and that's usually the easiest thing to go, right? You're hearing Cam Ward all over the place, and then you're hearing certain teams saying Sanders is my guy, on who the best quarterback is. I'm glad we aren't looking for one. That's for sure. I mean, you saw what happened last year. The quarterbacks all over the place, and sure enough, Caleb Williams goes number one, and then it's the Jaden Daniels who ends up having the better year. And a lot of people say if you redrafted, you would have taken Jaden Daniels. You don't want to be that team that swings and misses. Just curious on both those quarterbacks and the Titans holding the number one pick. Do you see a change in the first pick of the draft? Did the Titans trade out of that pick?
I would. I think this is definitely a situation where you trade out of the first pick. When there's not that one clear-cut guy that's an automatic in your head Hall of Famer, you trade out of that pick, especially a team like the Titans that have so many holes. I think this is definitely a situation where you do it. I know, Mario, I think you said you'd stay for Abdul Carter.
I'd probably stay for Abdul Carter. Yeah, and just next year you bridge it, go into that division, think, hey, anything can happen. We believe in our coach. Let's rock and let's roll with it. Maybe Will Levis turns a corner. If he doesn't, okay, we'll play it by year. But I think that's what I would do. I just don't – the Cam Ward, it's such a weird year, right? Because the common census, Dave, is like Cam Ward is the better football player, but Sanders has a higher ceiling. Yeah. And I think that is the weirdest critique and the hardest critique of all time, because it's like Sanders at his peak of what he can be is exceptional, but he's got to get to his peak. And if he's not at his peak, woo, you're screwed.
It's funny is you look at Justin Herbert and how we say, he doesn't speak up a lot as far as causing problems. I'd be afraid that between Sanders and his dad, who both have access to microphones and cameras all the time, if his kid isn't winning or his kid isn't getting the players that they feel should surround him, that it's going to be a PR nightmare. I mean, you really have to deal with the Sanders family if you go that route. You think Deion's going to keep quiet if his son's in New York and he's getting sacked 5 times a game, and they screw up in his mind in the draft, and it's never going to be his son's fault? Anywhere he's at, Raiders, Giants, wherever he ends up, that you go, it's going to be real smooth. I mean, Cam Ward might be the safer pick just because you don't have to deal with the two guys that have access to microphones and cameras 24/7.
I don't know how the Shedeur Sanders situation flies in the NFL, having a guy like that. I don't think we've ever seen a situation. Dave, you're older than us. Have you ever seen a situation like this?
No.
Ever?
But, okay,
Archie Manning opened his mouth when he didn't want Eli coming here. That was about it. But at the same time, Archie Manning was never a guy that went and sought up camera crews. Deion, being a head coach at the University of Colorado, has cameras in front of his face every single day.
Okay, counter though, but wouldn't that scream out then, hey, this guy, we don't have to worry about him coming to the NFL and being like overwhelmed with the pressure with the media because this guy's just used to it?
See, my angle's a little bit different. My thing, Mario, was like, I don't know how receptive a locker room would be to a person like that.
Okay.
In the NFL, like in college, you can get away with that because your dad's the head coach. But
yeah.
In the NFL, like, I'm not sure how that flies. And sorry, I cut off Dave.
No. My point is, unless his son is winning Super Bowls and having on his way to the Hall of Fame like his dad's never going to say anything positive. Never. Just going to be a negative spin all the way through his entire career.
But so my other thing I was going to say too, though, is are we blowing it like out of proportion? Like, is
Which
it
part?
get, you know what I mean?
I
Like the
don't know. His
part of-
dad's name is Prime Time. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
that
kind of
that
loves
part
the
of it.
cameras.
Yeah, like the love for cameras and, you know, the combine thing where he didn't seem interested. Like, are we blowing that out of proportion for a kid that did take some risk in his college career going to a HBCU when he could have gone to a bigger school, that he
didn't
goes
have
to
a choice.
Colorado?
He didn't have a choice. His
He
dad
did have
made
a
him.
choice.
His dad was the head coach.
But
What are you talking about?
Okay, but what my point is wasn't like his only option was there. He could have gone to Georgia if he really wanted. Like, he could have gone to an SEC school and been a player and started there. Like, no one's doubting that. He goes to Colorado still.
His dad wasn't
but
going to let him.
He's crazy talented, but goes to Colorado where his O-line is a bunch of freaking high schoolers, gets lit up the whole time, still makes plays, still has a very good quarterback. His receivers were not very good. He had one that's exceptional talent, but played
the Heisman Trophy
football. Exactly, but my point is that his talent level that around him was never exceptional, and he's about to go into a league where
that's his dad's fault.
Okay,
His dad recruited those guys.
But you're helping my point then.
Okay, my point is his dad's a distraction. I don't hate Deion Sanders. I don't want to come off like hate Deion.
I don't think you are.
My point is that there aren't too many guys you draft and you have to worry about the parents. Like, I coach high school sports, dude, and people ask me all the time, do you have parent problems? Because in high school sports, people want to obviously have a lot to say unless their kid's the star and plays all the time. But, man, in the NFL, it's crazy to bring the idea of high school sports to a parent problem when you're talking about billion-dollar leagues. It just sounds bizarre. But, that's Deion's not going to just let it go. He's not Archie Manning who's just going to disappear. Archie opened his mouth at one time, and it might have been the smartest thing he did. And I know Charger fans hate hearing that. But he's like, my kid's on his way to have a career just like mine. I don't want him to have the same career. He needs to go to an organization that's not going to be like the Saints.
It's funny that the Giants are kind of an S show, and that's where you want his kids to go, or his kid to go.
Yeah.
Won 2 Super Bowls.
He did.
And I don't
in a crazy way.
I still don't think he's better than Rivers, but in a crazy way. But the thing is, Eli might get in the Hall of Fame before Phillip Rivers because of those 2 games.
He is.
God, that bothers me to no end. Yeah, I mean, he will. He has 2 Super Bowls, but if you looked at both players, like, Phillip Rivers was better. Like, Eli Manning was, oh God, he has those 2 Super Bowls. Drive me nuts. Phillip was the better quarterback, right? For sure.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Damn it.
But Eli's getting in I think this fall he's getting in.
I feel like he should. He has 2 Super Bowls. All right, Cam Hayward calls out Aaron Rodgers, which is great because we're an anti-Aaron Rodgers show. For different reasons. So Cam Hayward was asked about the situation with Aaron Rodgers, and he basically said he hates his guts. He goes, either you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or you don't. Make the decision. He's tired. Cam Hayward said he's tired of talking about the quarterback situation. He said, I'd rather have this done. I don't know what's going to end up happening. I'm ready to move on from free agency. He says either he wants to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or he doesn't. I'm not going on any darkness retreat with him. I don't need any of that crap. Either you want to be a Steeler or you don't. That's simple. That's the pitch. If you want to be a recruit, then that's the recruiting pitch, Pittsburgh Steelers. If you want to be a part of it, so be it. If not, there's no skin off my back. That's great. I love Cam Hayward because he's thinking what we're all thinking. Like, dude, what are you doing? Are you going to be on this team? You're not going to be on this team. We're tired of waiting for you. I used to love Aaron Rodgers, right? When he came out of Cal, felt bad for him, right? Because he fell in the draft, goes to the Packers. Brett Favre seems like kind of a jerk to him, steps in, he's awesome. And then he turned into this like strange character, Mario.
Dude, it's so strange. It just suddenly became like egotistic. I mean, no, saw it coming because of the success, but just too much into his ego, too much into himself. Thought he was like the smartest person in the room, every room he walked into. He said he still does. Also, good for Cam, and also it just shows the culture difference between New York Jets and like Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jets would have waited, 24 hours straight for Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers are like, hey, we can win 10 games with a 6-year-old at quarterback. Like we have Tomlin. So like we just find a way. So you're either with it or without it. And Rodgers, like it's really not that deep, man. Like, why are we all just waiting around and acting like he's still, a top 3 quarterback in the league, Dave? He's like maybe top 10, maybe 15, I would say.
All right. here's my thinking. When I saw this whole deal. Number one, I'm 100% on Cam Hayward's page. When I either say you want to be with us or you don't, but you can't hold us hostage, because if you hold us hostage, it paralyzes the organization on making other moves. You can't sit there and do this to us. Then you start thinking, out of the 32 NFL teams, how many teams could you not hold hostage? The Steelers are the first one in my mind, meaning you have a giant resume with a ton of trophies in that case, one of the greatest franchises in the history of the NFL. You have a coach that people respect, and yet you're going to pull this move. I'm telling you right now, it's not the right fit then. This is where you go. He doesn't want to be here. Just move on. Do what the Vikings did, saying, look, our interest in Aaron Rodgers has diminished. We gave him time. Either you want to be here or you don't want to be here. And you move on. The deal is, what do the Steelers move on to? Because they really put themselves in a bad situation, right? They basically, Fields is gone, Wilson's gone, Kenny Pickett's gone. Terry Bradshaw's not walking through that door. Ben Roethlisberger made a video saying, I think I got some throws in my arm. Go ahead. Call Big Ben. See if he can carry you next year. But the Steelers aren't the Steelers where they should be, where they spend a ton of money on defense. You have TJ Watt, you have Minkah Fitzpatrick, you have Pickens, you just got Metcalf. You have guys on that team. Now, who can you bring in to play quarterback? Aaron Rodgers right now doesn't want to play the game with you. Now, I don't know what you do with the Steelers. I really don't care. I'm not a Steeler fan. At the same time, I think the Steelers misplayed their hand. I thought they played it terribly with the quarterback situation a year ago when you bring in two guys that expect to be the starting quarterback. One guy's doing fine, but for some reason you just switch over to the other guy, and then you don't make it to the Super Bowl. So Russell Wilson is gone. Fields is with the Jets, and you're going, what is our plan for the quarterback position? Adam Schefter said today, he goes, Aaron Rodgers might just sit back and do nothing, and not mean retire. Just sit back and wait for the season to start. See a team that's a contending team lose a quarterback and go, here I am. I'll lead you the rest of the way.
I'm surprised more guys don't do that. Yeah, why don't more people do that? I feel like that's definitely the way to go.
Made more money than any football player in the history of this league as an active player.
That's insane. All right, next topic.
Really?
That's what Schefter said. I thought it was Stafford, but it's not. It's Rodgers.
Huh.
All right. Season 2 of the quarterback series from Netflix. The cast was announced. Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, and Jared Goff are the 3 quarterbacks that are going to be featured in season 2. And one is not like the others. One is a backup, and 2 are starters. So I'm a little bit confused, Dave, on how we landed here.
Dude, I tell you what, you watch it first, and then you mark down the parts when Burrow's on, and then I'll fast forward to those. The other 2 guys have bored the hell out of me. I've seen Jared Goff doing the whole thing. Let's go to Jared Goff's house and check out where him and his girlfriend live, and boring as hell. Absolutely boring. Okay. Kirk Cousins, who all he does is care about getting ashes outside on the fire on his quarter zip. Dude, I don't care. Like, when there's a list of guys in sports where I'd like to knock on the door and just want to punch him in the face to see him cry, Eli used to be number 1 on that list. Kirk Cousins is now number 1 on the list. I'm telling you right now, I don't care if you tell me Kirk Cousins is a good guy, but man, to my opinion, when you don't win and you don't do the job, when they sign you to like $118 million deal or whatever the hell he got with Atlanta, and he's supposed to be a backup, and then you're all over the TV and you're making public appearances and you're playing golf and you're kissing ass and this and that. Dude, stay out of the limelight when you can't do your job. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. If you ever get your picture taken doing anything in the offseason, you better be on a football field throwing passes or in a gym. But to sit there and do anything but trying to be a better football player, cashing in those checks, stealing money, dude, if I was a Falcons fan, I'd be disgusted. You should be embarrassed, Kirk Cousins.
What do you got, Mario?
He's like the new Netflix darling. Like Netflix for like Formula One had Daniel Ricciardo, and then it was like the Haas general manager, team manager that they like loved and they always followed. And then for golf, it was like that Joel something. And he was just like, yeah, I suck at golf. And everyone's like, dude, you're not bad at golf. You're on the PGA Tour. And he's like, no, I suck. And then everyone just loved him. I feel like that's the, Kirk Cousins is at for the QB one. Everyone likes him because he gets his clothes from Target. He's just like a quirky guy. He's like good at football. But now he's on the back end of his career, and they want to show what it's like to be on the back end of your career. I'm going to give like everyone a newsflash. Being on the back end of your career in the NFL, it's still pretty sick. You get paid like still a lot of money. You're still rich. It's not.
But he's
still
not
get to go to the
supposed to
Super
be on the
Bowl.
back end. He was hired to be on the front end. Ask Falcon fans. He wasn't hired to be a guy that just rides off in the sunset and steals money. He was supposed to be the guy.
He's getting paid $100 million.
Yeah.
from them, guaranteed.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah.
they don't cut them.
Dude, not only they had a chance to cut him loose. Arthur Blank's still too busy in the mirror sitting there trying to line up that mustache of his, which looks weird as hell. By the way, to realize the clock just flipped right by and now you're stuck paying the bonus. What? What are we doing, Arthur? Is it Home Depot or the Home Depot? Because it sounds ridiculous to put the in front of it. In front of anything, the is ridiculous. So goddamn pissed. I'm not even a Falcons fan. I'm so angry.
Somebody's
right now.
angry today.
Yeah.
More than usual. Good
so
God.
upset right now.
Somebody's high school baseball team didn't win. I can sense it.
Riding a 2-game losing streak this week. Nope.
Somebody's on the hot seat.
Dude,
All right.
I'm always on the hot seat.
Breaking news out of San Diego. Dave Palais, the problem.
Did this guy manage the bullpen? What the hell's going on
Yeah,
here? All right.
batting
This is something, Mario, that I
Who
really
I'm
like
betting
because it sounds like something that we would talk about on the show. Things that just make a lot of sense to me. See what you guys think. The Lions proposed to the NFL that playoff seeding should be by your record and not if you win the division. To me, that makes a lot of sense. Does that make sense to you, Mario?
Yeah, that's like the meat in the middle on we don't want to get rid of the divisions and just do seeding. So the meat in the middle is like, hey, we'll still do it, but they just when you get to the playoffs, it's then based on record. I think it's very, very safe. It's very fun and it makes the most sense, Dave, because again, you'll have teams that get screwed over because they'll have some juggernaut in the division, but they still win 10 or 11 games. They deserve to have a higher seeding and have a home game over, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or whatever that ass team wins that division. Yeah.
Dude, I'm 100% with it. I think they should do it in every sport, by the way. Every single sport makes the most sense. And if you want to sit there and get rid of divisions, I'm okay with that too. But at the same time, hold on. I'm not done. At the same time, it would bother me if the Chargers didn't play the Raiders every single year. Like, I'd like to see that. So let's do a modified version of it. Let's go. You keep the divisions, but you play them only once a year and you alternate home and away every other year. Meaning, so you have the Raiders at home, you have the Chiefs on the road. Next year you come back and it's vice versa. And at least you keep the rivals that are there. I can't tell you how pissed off I was when they took the Seattle Seahawks out of the AFC West. I was like, what are we going to do now? No one cared. Dude, nobody cared. You know how many people listen to the show right now don't even know the Seattle Seahawks used to be in the AFC West? Nobody gave a rat's ass. Man, when they took the Milwaukee Brewers out of the American League, I lost my mind. Nobody cares. You're going to get used to whatever it is. But what makes sense is that the best teams are seated in the proper order to go into the postseason. That the regular season has to mean something. It has to be more balanced than the goddamn Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints, and the Falcons being in the same division. What an effing joke.
All right, we're going to get to the comments here, Mario, if you don't mind.
What do you think, Josh? You didn't give an opinion on that.
I think it's fair. I mean, I kind of gave my opinion. I think it's fair that the team with the best record should have the higher seeding. How does that not make sense? I don't get why a team that wins their division should be like a 9-8 team can get a higher seeding than a 11-6 team.
Get a home game.
Home game.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's dumb. I think it's dumb. Okay, AK got the red ass today. AK 499 says, Uncle Dave, I need your permission to go on this rant, please. Thank you. Do you give him permission, Dave?
No, hold on. I don't know. I didn't understand it. He wrote it to me on Twitter. Okay, look, AK, I didn't mean to not respond, but if I responded, most people wouldn't understand what the hell we were talking about. Okay, so we'll wait till we do it here. I think he's asking permission to jump into one of the squares.
No.
No, he has a comment. He has a comment under this.
Yeah. Then he can say whatever he wants.
You allow him into the gate.
He's asking to be jumping into one of the squares.
Okay, no. Dave approves your request. AK, here's AK's comment. 999 says, I want to say this: the Herbert trade needs to stop. It's dumb. If you do not know what it means, no trade clause. Go to school. That means Herbie is in charge, not the Chargers. He can sit home and not play and get paid. Okay, right. I want to comment on this JJ McCarthy, Justin Herbert thing.
AK, appreciate your rant right there. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sure all three.
AK, I think this is a great comment.
You did a good job.
Good job, AK. You did a really good job. The spelling was pretty good, and you did a good job. We probably should have talked about this earlier. I do not believe for 1 second that this is real. I believe it's people with a keyboard and a crazy mind that want to say, you know what, JJ McCarthy, that makes a lot of sense. In no world does that make any sense for the Chargers. Why in the hell would you trade Justin Herbert for JJ McCarthy, a guy that wasn't even good in college, won the national championship with a great team around him? Justin Herbert for JJ McCarthy does not benefit the Chargers at all. If Jim Harbaugh was to somehow get JJ McCarthy over the Chargers, I would lose all faith in him. I would be so pissed. I would probably give up my fandom. You'd never see me again on the show. That's how upset I would be. It's not real. I don't believe it for 1 second.
I agree. It's not real. You know who else isn't real? The Georgia Bulldogs, down 13-0 to Gonzaga. Try to tell the people.
They're lucky to be in the dance.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, hold on. Let's say you're Justin Herbert, all right? You hear this crazy rumor. He had to hear it, right? Somebody told him. He might be one of those guys that's looking up information on him or anything right now. Who knows? But somebody had to tell him, dude, there's a rumor you're going to Minnesota. And he's like, well, I'm not going anywhere unless I decide I want to go there. Well, look, you can go to Minnesota. You can play with Kevin O'Connell, an offensive genius. You can play with Justin Jefferson, arguably the best receiver in the league. You can play indoors. The Bears are soon going to get an indoor stadium. The Lions already have an indoor stadium. Your only big road game where you're going to suffer in the weather is going to be Green Bay, possibly, depending on what time of year. Does Minnesota sound attractive to you? Do you think he would say yes?
I got to be honest.
A 10-year-old kid wearing a Charger jersey on his notepad when he wasn't paying attention in school. We've all seen it.
I mean, Minnesota is an attractive spot. I'm sure it's not going to happen, but it is. I mean, anytime you go, you play Justin Jefferson and you have KOC calling your plays, that's nice. Oh, but I would not want to be in that division either. That division's just going to get better year after year. At least the AFC West. Raiders fart down their leg. So you're good on that. Bo Nix is going to regress like a mother. Yeah, you have Mahomes, but
you and Bo Nix kill me.
Dude, I can't wait for that regression. I can't wait.
Okay.
All right. Next one is Chris $5. It says trade for Dallas Goedert as a stopgap and then draft Mason Taylor in the second round. What are your thoughts? What do you think, Mario?
I think Chris is Dallas Goedert. I see this message all the time. Are you trying to come to Los Angeles? I see this every show. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
I'll go first. I would take Dallas Goedert.
Me too.
For sure. He's a really good tight end. I just don't think he's the tight end one for a long time. He's on the older side. You definitely got to draft somebody. I'd be all for it. I'd be all for Dallas Goedert coming to the Chargers.
I would love it. I don't know if it's going to happen. But yeah, I'd like to move. Maybe, I don't know if Mason Taylor is that great get in the second round, because I feel like if we trade for Dallas, then we go somewhere else besides tight end, and we just go, all right, we're going to go, defensive line or something like that.
Dude,
all right,
hold
Dave,
on. McNeese State really up 40-18 in the second half?
Yes. I've
That
tried
is
to tell
insane.
you.
18.
Yeah, 18. And I said this morning on a show, don't bet him.
18. Wow.
Not don't bet him. I said I don't pick him in the tournament bracket, but yeah.
I think the three of us could get 18 in 26 minutes of play. Don't you think? Could we get 18?
Against McNeese?
Anybody.
I can't.
I think it's the Lakers. I think the three of us could get 18 if you gave us 26 minutes.
None of us can even dunk.
Doesn't matter. We're shooting threes.
Dude,
we're rifling that bitch.
Listen, I'm just gonna say this: if you took everyone's height and made it around my height, and you lower that rim to about 9 foot, we got him.
No, we don't.
Yeah, no, we got him.
Right.
I'm crazy different on a local.
Cody Worth, $4.99. This is going to piss people off. He says, we whiffed on taking Joe Alt over Brock Bowers. Brady or Mahomes at any point in their careers, they would have traded for Gronk or Kelsey for even a Hall of Fame tackle. Okay, first off, you can't make comments like this like they're facts. Like, this is an opinion. This is not a fact. I appreciate your opinion. I'm not going to discuss Joe Alt and Brock Bowers again. It's inconclusive. I don't know what to say yet. Okay. Both are great players. I'm not going to say one's better than the other. So far, I don't know what to say with you. One guy is the best player at his position. Another guy is one of the best players at his position. They're both great.
They can both be in the Hall of Fame.
They both could be in the Hall of Fame.
Be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Both teams won. Okay. Both teams can win. You're allowed to do that. All right. Jeff Flores.
Mahomes' O-line pretty good too, by the way. People don't remember.
Patrick Mahomes has always had a better offensive line than Justin Herbert. Not even close.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jet Flores, $20. Says Dave's face when he asked Mario, primetime?
Go back and watch.
Yeah, and I got to go back myself. I don't even know what happened there. All right. I appreciate it, Jet.
Matthew Dahl, $4.99 says, do you think the announcers on TV will say the Chargers have a fan base this year in our home stadium? I think they said that last year, right? I think the announcers said it a couple of times that the Chargers seemed like they were getting more fans at SoFi.
They are. Friends of mine who are season tickets say season ticket holders. They say, yeah, it's you can see it more and more every game.
All right, last one. $4.99 from Herbert Cosio says thoughts on Oregon tight end Patrick Herbert. Could he be a hidden gem as an undrafted free agent? He's going to be a Charger, right? This is what's going to happen.
Dave, you're already like pissed off by this.
Dude, they only need one Herbert per team. I mean, what are we doing?
We already got two. We got Ben
That's
Herbert.
what I'm saying. I mean, we're already playing with fire. What are we doing here? You know,
they're going to bring in his brother. You know, they're going to bring in his.
They
brother.
will.
You gotta bring in the brother.
They will. What do we say about this team, though, this franchise all the time? We always get the wrong brother. We got the brother that's good now. Why bring in the other one? You know what I mean? We got the wrong Gronkowski. We do this all the time. We got the wrong Bosa. We got the wrong Pouncey. Right? Who else are there? There's like 6 of them in here. All these brothers we've missed over the years.
Watts.
Yeah, got the wrong Watt brother. The only Watt brother that couldn't make the Subway commercial. You know what I mean? I mean, basically, right? We never end up with the good brother. We got the good brother for once. Why even take a chance of having the bad brother rub off of him? Whatever I'm trying to say. They're brothers.
Oh,
I know.
You
I sound like Mario. Mario's mom just
Hey-o.
sent me a message and I'm going to hell.
All right. I
Sorry.
think we're good, man.
All right.
You got anything?
Yeah, I'll go. All right. I know it's like you guys all said I'm in a bad mood. It's been a bad week. All right. I got news for you. I'm playing a really good team tomorrow, too. I'm probably going to lose that one, too. Think positive.
yeah, you are with that attitude.
I'm not playing. That's the issue. That's the deal is I'm playing 3 of the top 5 teams in the city all in a 3-day span, basically. Does he understand that? That's not easy to do. All right. We'll be okay, Mario. We'll be all right. Next week
I'm
will be
good.
a
I'm
better week.
stressed.
I'm stressed out. I hate losing. All right.
Also, Josh on a time crunch, so
Okay, real quick, Josh. All right. 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. Dude, we're all watching college basketball. At least Mario and I are because we're men. Josh 100% forgot it even started today. But March Madness started. I used to love college basketball like you wouldn't believe. I watched it all the time. I watched college basketball, I watched pro basketball. I love the fact that guys stayed in college, for 3 years, like Michael Jordan, as good as he was, or Patrick Ewing stayed 4 years, you name it. Guys stayed the entire time. You understand, you go to the NBA, you're making money as fast as you can. But dude, when guys are gone after 1 year, you just sit there and you lose interest in your team. And now it's just become one of those where NIL money, you're just buying the best players and championships. It's not, college basketball is ridiculous right now. If you watch the NBA, that's basketball played at its highest level. Oklahoma City's average age is 25.1 years. Auburn Tigers, who are playing right now, their average age is 24.1 years. I mean, it is crazy to think of the way this goes right now. And the fact that Notre Dame and Ohio State were the 2 teams in the national championship because they spent the most amount of money is ridiculous. And then LSU all of a sudden gets another $9 million thrown to their NIL deal because they lost their quarterback to Michigan. Dude, what are we doing? College sports has become just a waste. It's a minor leagues, obviously, for sports, as Cardell Jones used to say, the great former Charger used to say, we don't go to school to play school. We go to school to basically play football.
I didn't come here to play school.
Yeah, I didn't come here to play school. And that's what it obviously is. And these freshmen never have to go to class because it doesn't count if you fail out to your sophomore year. So you never have to show up to class. There's not a guy at Kentucky that went to class. Are you kidding me? They all thought they're going to the NBA after the first year. It's as I'm watching now, because we all fill out that damn bracket. But man, it is so watered down and a weak version of what it used to be when I thought it was great. So there's my rant.
Yeah. Sorry, I gotta go.
Yeah. I disagree with you, but we'll tease it for next show, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna give away a secret here because we've been doing this for a few months now. It comes from Ryan Culver, $2. He says, Josh, do you always end the show taking a drink? I do. And it was a little joke between us 3 to see if anybody would notice, but I go like this.
We
Wow.
We try and
pause.
because the show's really not over when Mario says goodbye or we say goodbye. We all try and freeze to see, like in the old TV sitcoms where you just right in the moment. And then Josh would always grab the water bottle, freeze that he was drinking. And then Ryan's the one that caught it, right? Was he the one that caught it?
Yeah.
It took how many months for somebody to catch it?
A couple months.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. I really got to go.
All right. Here we go. For Mario Heron, Josh Palais, I'm Dave Palais. We'll see you Tuesday at 1:00.